Hi, welcome back for the next enthralling episode of Dog Walks with a CEO. As usual, Cooper, there he is. And a quick update on the fields, I guess. We've now had bales of hay, it's all been done. So looking great. So the topic for this week, I've had a really great response to doing these videos, and this is only the third, so it's really positive to see the responses that we've got. So thanks very much for that. Keep them coming in, and a ton of questions, and a lot of those questions have been around the screening industry, and that's great because it's this kind of thing that I love talking about the most, but don't want to make it the sole purpose of these videos. I want to talk about, as I mentioned before, business, life as a CEO in a growing business, and what that means. I think one of the best requests we got, I think I'll take this quite personally, can we have more Cooper? Hopefully that's enough for you. I don't think he wants to do a video. He's not very knowledgeable on most subjects. But I'll ask him. So anyway, one of the questions that I got, which was really interesting, was as a manager, this was the question. So as a manager, I seem to spend all my day dealing with problems. Surely as a CEO, it's 10 times worse. How do you cope with that? I thought that was a really great question. So first off, I guess my job as a CEO and a job as a manager are somewhat different. So a manager is very much about working in the business and delivering day-to-day results. As a CEO, I'm more interested about working on the business, looking at strategy, looking at our future, how do we plan, what do we do next, etc., things like that. So I don't get as involved now in the day-to-day operations. Having said that, we're still a small, fast-growing business, so I'm still quite involved, but not as involved when we first started off. But the point of the question was still really good. And by the way, someone else mentioned on one of my previous videos, Matt, you always look out of breath. Yeah, I'm terribly unfit. Cooper is 18 months old now, and he's part of my Get Fit regime. Helps me a lot. But when I do these videos, I'm probably about, I don't know, 1.5 miles into a 3-mile walk in the evening. So, and it's hot, so forgive me if I'm puffing and panting a bit. But hopefully, we'll all see over the next year maybe that becomes less. Who knows? So yeah, the question still fairly valid in my role as well, and it's quite a simple answer. I don't focus on the problems. I don't focus on the negatives, and I don't focus on the failures. Like any business, we have negatives, we have challenges, we have failures, we deal with them. But that's not my focus. My focus is always on the positives. So if I look back in my early career and we talk about, we lost this client, right, let's do an analysis of why we lost that client or why we didn't get that deal. Let's look at all the problems that are there and try and fix them. Now, I think we should flip that on its head. That new client that came on, why did we get it? That's great. Let's talk about the positives of how we got it. And what that leads us to, A, is a better working environment because we're not all stressed out by negatives all the time. But rather than trying to address negatives that actually we may not ever be able to get ahead of other people on, let's look at the positives and really enhance those even further. So rather than, and that's what I think leads our business and any other business that adopts that approach to be exceptional, because we're focusing on what we're good at and we're making that exceptional to our clients and in our service, rather than spending all of our time looking at the negativity, looking at the things that maybe we're not so good at. And actually then I start questioning to myself, should we be doing those things? Should we be doing those things that we're not so good at? Or should we leave that for a partner to do to work with us. We've got some fantastic partners that we work with to deliver the service. So actually, if we're not that good at it, why would we do it? Why would we spend our time and effort on trying to do something average because we're not that good at it, rather than focusing on actually what are those things that we're already good at and making them exceptional? So that's how I look at it, and it certainly gives me a more positive view to my day. One saying that kind of sums it up, I think, is that if you look at nature, which is, you know, where I'm at, even in nature, nothing flowers all year round. So you can never do everything great. There's always going to be those challenges. We're going to have down weeks, down months. This week's been up and down like a yo-yo. But if you generally focus on the positives, for you, for my mental health, it's very good because I'm not constantly worried about things. For the team, it's really good because they're feeling like they're achieving. For the business, it's great because we're pushing forward. And for our clients, it's great because they're getting an exceptional service on something, an exceptional product, rather than us going, well, we do that okay, so why don't we now try and make, you know, the average bit a bit better? No, get rid of the average. Focus on the positives and make it exceptional. So yeah, again, gone over 5 minutes. So I think my promise of these staying at 5 minutes is probably never going to happen. But I will finish there and pick up on some more subjects next week. So it's goodbye from me, Cooper, and it's goodbye from Cooper. Have a great time. Thanks very much for tuning in.